Rain hammered down as Emma Carter drove home from her shift at the diner. 27 years old, with blonde hair pulled back in a tired ponytail. She wore a beige waitress uniform stained with coffee and exhaustion. The backseat, her daughter, Lily, slept. 5 years old, wearing a hand-me-down pink jacket. Emma's ancient sedan barely ran check engine light permanently on, but it got them home. That's what mattered. Through the downpour, Emma saw Heyman, elderly man, walking on the sidewalk, maybe 70, with silver hair. He wore an expensive suit black overcoat, carried a leather briefcase, but he was soaked, struggling against the wind. No umbrella, no car in sight. Emma slowed down, rolled down her window. Sir, do you need a ride? The man looked at her, surprised. Don't want to be a bother. It's pouring, Emma said. Get in, let me take you home. The man hesitated, then opened the door, climbed into the passenger seat. Thank you, I'm Robert. Emma. Where are you heading? Robert gave an address. Emma's eyes. Wealthy part of town, 30 minutes away. She was exhausted. Lily needed to get home. Dinner needed to be made, but this man needed help. Okay. They drove in silence, rain pounding the roof. Then Robert spoke. That's your daughter? Yes. Lily, beautiful name. She looks peaceful. Long day at daycare, Emma admitted. While I work. What do you do? I'm a waitress at Joe's Diner, double shifts. That's hard work. It's honest work, Emma said. I'm grateful for it. Robert studied her worn car, the exhausted face. Way she drove, carefully protecting her sleeping child. Can I ask you something, sure? Why did you stop for me? Robert asked. Most people wouldn't. Emma thought. My grandfather. She finally said. He died last year. He was walking home one night in the rain, had a heart attack on the sidewalk. People drove past for 20 minutes before someone stopped. By then, it was too late. Her voice broke. I think about that all the time. What if someone had stopped? Con, what if someone had helped? So sorry, Robert whispered. Me too. They arrived at Robert's house, mansion, beautiful gate garden, everything. Thank you, Robert said, for the ride. Of course, Robert pulled out his wallet. Please let me pay you for gas for your time. No, thank you, Emma said. I'm just glad you're safe. At least take my card. Robert insisted. He handed her a business card. If you ever need anything. Emma took it politely, knowing she'd never call after Robert. Got out. Emma drove home to her small apartment, made dinner, ramen. Again, put Lily to bed, then collapsed exhausted. The next morning, Emma's phone rang. A known number. Hello, Emma Carter. Yes, this is Margaret Chin. I'm calling from Whitmore Industries. Robert Whitmore asked me to contact you. Emma's heart stopped. Robert Whitmore, CEO of Whitmore Industries, one of the richest men in the state, gave him a ride. Emma said, that's all. He'd like to offer you a position. Executive assistant, $65,000 a year, full benefits, including childcare. What he was very impressed, Margaret said, by your kindness, your character. He'd like to meet with you today, if possible. Emma couldn't speak. I'm a waitress. I don't have experience. Mr. Whitmore believes character matters more than credentials, Margaret said. Will you come? Emma went Lily to daycare, then to Whitmore Industry stall. Building last, beautiful. She felt out of place in her best outfit, which was a thrift store dress. Margaret greeted her, led her to Robert's office. He stood when she entered. Emma, thank you for coming, Mr. Whitmore. I don't understand. Sit, please. Emma sat. Robert sat across from her. Last night you stopped in a rainstorm, Robert said. Picked up a stranger. Drove 30 minutes out of your way with your child in the car. Refused payment. Why? Because you needed help, but you could have been dangerous, Robert said. I could have hurt you. Hurt your daughter. Most people wouldn't risk that. I saw a man in the rain, Emma said, simply, not a threat. Just someone who needed help. Robert nodded. That's why I want to hire you. Because you see people, not obstacles, not threats, just people. That's rare. Over the next months, Emma worked for Robert, proved herself capable, organized, dedicated, but more than that, she brought kindness to the office. Remembered birthdays, act about people's family, saw employees as humans, not resources. 6 months after that rainy night, Robert called Emma to his office. "I need to tell you something." "Okay." That night, in the rain, Robert said, "I wasn't just walking. I was contemplating suicide." Emma gasped. My wife had died 6 months before Robert continued cancer. 52 years together, gone. I didn't want to live without her. I walked out of the office into the rain, planning to walk to the bridge to jump. His voice broke. "Then you stopped. You saw me, not as a burden, not as a threat, just as someone who needed help. That saved my life." Emma started crying. "I didn't know that's why it mattered." Robert said, "You helped." Not knowing who I was, not expecting anything, just because it was right. You gave me a reason. Let's keep going. 1 year after that night, Robert called a company meeting and announced something unexpected. "I'm promoting Emma Carter to Chief of Staff. Be my right hand in all company operations." Gas whispers. "Emma has been here 1 year," Robert said. "Less experience than most of you. But she has something more important. She sees people, really sees them." That night in the rain, she saved my life. Not just by giving me a ride, but by seeing me as human, as worthy of help. That's the person I want beside me. At the announcement, Emma spoke 1 year ago. "I was driving home in the rain," she said, "exhausted, my daughter asleep in the back. I saw a man struggling. I almost drove past. I was tired. It was out of my way. But I remembered my grandfather, who died alone. Because no one stopped." She looked at the staff. "I stopped, not knowing who Robert was, just knowing he needed help. That decision changed my life. But more importantly, it taught me something, that stopping for people costs time, but saves lives." Robert stood. "Emma gave me a ride that night," he said, "but she gave me something more. She gave me hope that kindness still exists, that people still see each other, that we're not alone." His voice thick. "I'm alive today because a single mother working double shifts, driving a broken car, stopped in the rain for a stranger. That's who I want running this company. People who choose compassion over convenience every single time." Years later, Emma became CEO. When Robert retired, she never forgot that rainy night. Established a company policy, stop for people. If an employee helped someone, proved it with compassion, they got bonuses, recognition, advancement. People asked about the policy. Emma would say, "I stopped for a stranger in the rain. Changed both our lives." Robert would add, "She saved me, not just that night, but every day after." And Lily, now 16, would say, "Mom stopped when everyone else drove past." That's what heroes do. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it with someone who believes in stopping for strangers. Subscribe for more stories about small acts that save lives. Comment and tell us about a time when stopping to help changed everything. Your story might inspire someone to pull over today.